Hi all, welcome to our new episode. Please watch this video till end and share your comments. And if you are watching it for the first time, or meaning we are visiting the channel for the first time, please don't hesitate to subscribe.
Today we will touch upon two topics. One is about union budget presented by Finance Minister. The second is about Microsoft outage uh, that happened last week.
Okay.
Let us start with the union budget.
Yeah, so we will talk about the union budget presented by Nirmala Sitharaman last week, which is a continuation of the interim budget presented before the Lok Sabha election. Now, people look at this budget from different perspectives and some call it taxation budget, some call it development budget, some employment generating budgets, and some fiscal consolidation budget and so on. Let's take a quick look at it and see what budget exactly is this. But we cannot get into all the provisions and all the proposals in this short video. We'll touch upon very key important announcements and proposals. Let's start with the salaried employee taxation. So, as we all know, there are two regimes now, old and new, and the government intention is to phase out the old regime and go ahead. Go forward with one regime. That's the new regime. So now, one proposal in this budget is of increasing the standard deduction from 50,000 to 75,000, which is relevant to new regime, and this makes the tax liability of employees who earn up to 7.75 lakhs virtually nil. Okay, and also there is some changes which helps the people in the low income bracket. Now, another portion which may help some of the salaried employees is the proposal to allow TCS as a credit against the TDS. Okay, so quick look at what is TDS and TCS. TDS is tax deducted at source, which is deducted by the buyer of any service or goods, or the one who pays. They deduct TDS and pays the balance to whoever receiving that amount, and the tax amount will be TDS amount will be deposited to the bank. Now TCS is something which is deducted by the seller. I mean, which is collected by the seller, and this the seller will be depositing to the bank. So, and till now, uh, whoever has, I mean, this TCS can be taken as a credit at the time of filing the IT returns, but now you can get the credit immediately against the TDS, meaning it will help the individuals with the better cash flow. That's this thing. Now, other taxation related important announcement is on capital gains. Now, one is uniforming certain things, bringing uniformity in the short term, long term definition. So, short term is in most cases 1 year, and anything more than 1 year is long term. And the finance minister has proposed increasing the capital gain, the short term capital gain tax on equity and equity related funds from 15 to 20%. And it has brought uniformity in the long term capital gain tax by um, increasing the long term capital gain on equity and equity related fund from 10 to 12 and a half, and decreasing the same the tax on non-financial assets like properties, real estate properties, gold, etc. from 20 to 12 and a half. Now, maybe wondering that's a great relief. No, hold on. See, this is without indexation. See, earlier the 20% was with indexation. Indexation means the cost inflation index. That was the method to take care of the inflationary effect on the amount somebody has invested in buying the property long back. So the amount you deduct from the sale value will be the cost, the inflation adjusted cost inflation index. Now that has been removed, meaning if you had invested an amount of 10 lakhs in a property, say 20 years back, then you will be deducting only 20 years from the sale value and but pay lesser tax. But many people say it will benefit, it will benefit the investors or who are selling the real estate property. Some say it is not so. So we'll have to see, who all will get benefited, who all will be penalized by this provision. Now, now see, now this the short term, long term tax increase in the tax on equity and equity mutual fund has actually dented the confidence of the stock market. We have seen that it has been tanking for during the last week, though it recovered a bit on Friday, the last day of the week. The sentiment was not of real confidence, and FA is actually withdrew from the market, and that was the what do you call the sentiment against this budget by the market. Yeah. Now let us move on to the proposals allocation of funds. Um, the largest chunk of the budget is about 23% of the total budget allocation has gone to interest as usual. I mean, it's not anything the government can do because it is on the debt, the payable on the debt the government has taken. So that is the major chunk. And the transportation is one area. The road, bridges, etc. Has got a 11 plus percentage allocation. So this together comes to about two-thirds of the total budget allocation. Now, this is also good because it creates employment, it creates development, infrastructure, and so on. But overall, in other sectors, I mean, infrastructure as a whole has stagnated or declined in terms of allocation. Defense has declined or stagnated in terms of allocation. And social sectors, education, healthcare, all those schemes coming under that, they all stagnated or declined in terms of allocation. And one of the major focus was on employment generation because that was one of the reasons that BJP got lesser seats in the last election. So they try to address that by so they have not been doing anything on that, but now this all of a sudden they have come out with some schemes like skill development, skilling, and then providing apprenticeship and bringing some 500 top companies to take 1 crore employee, 1 crore freshers as Indians and all sort of thing. We're giving incentive to these companies. It's good actually, if we really put that into practice and implement this really. But this should not be, one time. This has to be a continuous uh, agenda. If that because we our employment rate is something around 7.5 to 8% in 2024. That's not a good sign for the economy because that's why people call jobless growth. I mean, that's what we have been going through there. And also some other initiatives were on improving the manufacturing, enhancing the manufacturing sector by giving cuts on customs duties on certain imports. And MSME is also given focus by bringing credit guarantees, enhancing the credit guarantee schemes and other loan facilities. And this is one MSME is an area which actually contributes about one-third to the GDP and also generates a lot of employment. So this sector has to be taken care of, and there are proposals to that. And but now another major allocation is for two states in the country, Andhra Pradesh and Bihar. It's not to say that they should not get any allocation, but every state should get allocation. Now, this special packages given to them, in the case of Andhra Pradesh, it is because of certain legal requirements, but that has been there for a long time. But now this has become material. This has become possible because of the political compulsions. Because NDA cannot survive without their support. So that's what. So this huge package given out to them is at the cost of other states, and how other states got whether see Chennai's metro, Kerala's Vizhinjam, what kind of support in this budget? Nothing is mentioned about that, and Kerala has been hoping for an aims this year at least. I mean, I just been hoping for one for the long time, but thought this would come because Kerala has elected one BJP MP for the first time uh, in history, but nothing happened. Anyway, so the bottom line is this: we don't know what. I mean, see, I don't know how to classify whether it's a taxation budget, development budget, or employment generating budget. Um, but I would say, but the one thing is that we can argue. I mean, the government can argue that there is cut in or there is stagnation in the allocation of funds because the aim is actually to reduce the fiscal deficit, and the aim is to 4.9% of the GDP. So that's one. So which means you have to cut or you have to freeze the allocation. Now that maybe that can be given as a reason why there is cut in social sectors and other. But otherwise, if you look at it, there is nothing much to talk about. I don't know whether this budget will actually give an impetus to the development, the employment generation, and social development, and so on. That's our view.
So overall, how is the budget?
Yeah, that's what I told. That's the budget actually is colorless. I would say colorless in the sense it is talking about. I mean, it's giving some bits and pieces there and here, but this may not be a budget which can actually drive growth, drive development, drive some sectors, drive social development, and so on. Okay, but it's not something like in a budget of 1991 of Manmohan Singh, which actually changed the economic scenario of for India.
Let us talk about Microsoft outage.
Yeah. So you might have all heard of the chaos in airports and rescheduling of airlines, cancellation of airlines, banking. I mean, issues with the banking transactions, and the problem with the booking done on hotels and so on. This happened because of this Microsoft outage, because of a faulty software or a bug in a software update in Falcon cybersecurity software uh, provided by the company named CrowdStrike. Now, this is a cybersecurity software installed not only on computers and systems running on Microsoft operating system. It is installed and updated on computers and systems running on Apple OS as well as Linux. But there is an architectural difference between them, and that is the reason why Microsoft versions were affected and others were not. Now, we'll not get into that detail now. So, so what happened was, there was a bug in the when you talk about why you we may think that once the software is installed, then that's it. No, the software is always getting updated. That's called patches, updates, and all. Every software will have updates for multiple reasons. Because there will be changes, there will be enhancements, there will be so many things. So, they will have periodical updates, enhancements, or patches. I mean, debugging the bugs which they find out earlier. I also know. Now, in case of security software, cyber security software, and all, this will be more frequent because new threats are coming. No, every day, the new threats emerge. So they have to safeguard the machines running on a certain operating system from these threats which emerge. It is not happening once in a while. It's not an enhancement or an update that has to happen once in a while. It's a frequent happening. So there will be very frequent updates to safeguard these new threats, new cybersecurity uh, threats. So this is how it has happened. So the faulty design actually made all about 8.5 million computers running on Microsoft operating system crashing out, causing disruption in many industries, particularly in aviation industry, where the a lot of flights were to be cancelled, a lot of flights were to be rescheduled, and so on. And also there were disruptions in banking industry, financial services industries, in hospitality industries, healthcare, and so on, to name a few. So 8.5 million is just 1% of the machines running on Microsoft operating system, but it is huge. Now, um, CrowdStrike accepted the fault, but Microsoft has a reputation affected because of that. Though it is not their response, it was not their response. And that is why they came out with a statement alleging that this is happened because of EU economic European Union mandate. Because it is because of the European Union mandate that third-party cybersecurity software need to be installed on machine on computers. Um, Otherwise, Microsoft, for example, has their own cybersecurity software called Microsoft Defender, but EU mandated that. So their contention is that it was their security software. This would not have happened. Anyway, that's a debatable thing. But see, the bottom line is this. We want to talk about this in a different, in a different perspective. See now, technology is great, and it is making, we are actually experiencing the advantage of technology in various fields, not only in business, in our day-to-day life, every walks of life, actually making a lot of things easier, faster, and all. But over dependence on technology is going to backfire someday. That is what has happened now. Here, the technology, the machines, computers crashed, and then they had no other backup. See, there was no manual system to operate on. This is the problem. So the companies and businesses um, should have a manual system as a backup to take care of this kind of eventualities, because this can happen anytime, and not just one. It happened earlier also. This can happen in a more severe manner in future. So there has to be some backup system, which people used to manage things by, in the earlier days. So, or some other backups, for it. So this is what the over dependence on technology is not really great. It may not be good. Like, the AIs are good enough, but it can actually create chaos if it say crashes like this. So that's our take on. Our takeaway on this Microsoft outage that happened. Yeah, so that's all for now. So
Thank you for watching our video. Please like our video, share your comments. If anyone is watching our video first time, please subscribe our channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.